Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by my channel. Definitely appreciate taking some time out of your day to pay me a visit. We are out at Buffalo Park on the Fox River. It's October 5th, and believe it or not, we're going to go do some wet wading. It is incredibly warm, gorgeous out. Yesterday it was near 90. I was out on the St. Charles stretch yesterday in my boat. Had a tough day. I don't think the fall bite has really quite kicked in yet with this warm weather. So I am still kind of doing summer mode, I guess, today, which is good because I get to do some wet wading. But I've brought bitsy bugs today. Bitsy bugs and chigger craws. That is really all I'm going to worry about for the moment. I've got maybe about 3 or 4 hours before I got to get to a family party. So we'll do our normal little start here right above this riffle stretch and then work up a little bit past the water reclamation plant. And then, I don't know, I forgot my net, so I had brought some glide baits and some crankbaits, which since I don't have a net, I really don't think I want to be dealing with treble hooks. I did bring my fly rod as well, so I might bust that out later, but I think the bitsy bugs are really all we're going to have to worry about. Oddly enough, the water is really muddy for some reason. We didn't really get a whole lot of rain. The water's still kind of low, but anyway, we'll just go fish, see what happens. Hopefully have a decent midday bite here. When I was in the St. Charles stretch yesterday, we started the day at 70 degrees for the water temp. Ended the midday around, I think we got off the water around 2, maybe 1:30. And water was about 74, and that's kind of what I'm guessing the water temperature still is. It really did not get that cold overnight. You guys want a visual on super clean water coming out of the water discharge versus what the Fox is looking like? Man, that is pretty distinct. Again, I really don't know why the Fox is running so dirty right now. Maybe it's just because all the weeds are finally starting to die off and they're letting go of all the silt and stuff that they had stuck on the leaves and whatnot. That's one thing that I've definitely noticed here is all the weeds that were here over the summer, those are all gone. Probably means I should be throwing a square bill. Should be one in that eddy right in front of that big cinder block wall, concrete wall, or whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it. There's definitely an eddy there. There's a fish. Knew there was going to be one in there. This feels like a decent... Yeah, it's not a bad one. Okay, nice fat fish. Thanks, buddy. Now watch me jinx myself as I say there should be more than one in there. This should be like a 2 or 3 fish spot. Just considering how long that... There's another one right there. Second cast in a row. That feels like an even better one. Oh yeah, that's definitely a better... Well, I think that's a better fish. Oh yeah. That's a solid 2.5 pounder. Wow, that guy is actually really well hooked too. One of my problems that I have, all the rods that I have are really designed for boats. So these rods are just really inconveniently long for wading. Makes grabbing these fish a lot harder than it should be. Especially when you don't have a net. Wow, alright. That's a gorgeous fish. Very nice, healthy looking guy. Alright, buddy. See you later. I think I destroyed my chigger cross, so we might have to go replace that. We might have one more fish left in this. Can we do 3 for 3? Yes, we can. All right. This is the fun of fall fishing. When you find them, boy, you find them. Another real nice, solid guy. Well, that's 3 fish. That beats my 6 hours of fishing on St. Charles yesterday. Definitely quality fish compared to the St. Charles stretch too. Alright, see you later, buddy. I lost one of my claws on this jigger craw, but that should be okay. Alright, can we go 4 for 4? Alright, well, no 4 for 4, but maybe I did jinx myself saying that there should be another 2 or 3 fish, and we got 2. Ooh, that felt like a bite. This jigger craw is not long for this world. There we go. All right, well, that's, I think it was 3 or 4 casts in between fish. All right, nice long fish. Thanks, buddy. That sugar craw is hanging on for dear life. So I want to just point out, you know, where we're at right now. So that's the water reclamation plant. You can walk along the shoreline of that water reclamation plant up until that tree line. Then it's private property. Then you got to get it in the water to not be trespassing. Once you're in the water, you can go up and down the river as far as you want, or can. But there's a deeper hole right here. And we can kind of tell that there's slack water over there. It gets real shallow over here. There's a really big riffle stretch right here. And right where those rocks are, it's about ankle deep. And it just starts gradually getting slower. This actually used to be a lot deeper of a hole. I feel like it's filling in since they took out the dam, which is normal, right? Things are going to start shifting as a new main channel gets developed, but ultimately what I'm talking about. So there is a current seam right where that like pottery stone looking thing is. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's an old concrete post hole thing. But you can kind of tell by the water's edge where that current seam is. I was focusing on that current seam tighter to the shore, but you know, just 5 feet, 10 feet down is where all these fish seem to be. They don't want to be up here. They're kind of right in front of that rock jumble. I'd also say, I didn't check where the water gauge is right now. I'm thinking it's about 5 feet. But 3/16 is really the perfect weight for these bitsy bugs. Because that 3/16 is just heavy enough for it to maintain bottom contact, yet still kind of drift with the current. The 1/4 will do that, just not as well. And to me, that's the much more natural looking thing as a crayfish gets swept away. I'll go up to a 1/4 ounce when the current's heavier. And these are just the standard bitsy bug. You don't need the bitsy bug flip. I actually kind of prefer the standard bitsy bug. That hook is really not a high quality hook on the standard bitsy bug. But, and what I mean by that is it will bend out, which I actually kind of like when I'm fishing the river. I'd rather have it bend out, let me bend it back in, rather than the alternative, which is breaking it off. But we're going to go ahead and replace this sugar craw. This thing is kind of at the end of its life. I've seen or shown this a few times in videos, but with a sugar craw, you kind of want to pinch off that first segment, and then you slide it up the first 2 segments. Bring the hook out at that second, kind of get it halfway up, twist it, and then put the hook right back through it. That makes these bitsy bugs, or these sugar craws, last a noticeable time longer. You want to push? I can give you a nudge. No, not at all. Yeah. The water's nice enough. Yeah, the last kayakers that came through here got stuck as well. Oh yeah? I think the water's dropped about another quarter foot.
Yeah, and I was talking and not paying attention.
Oh, it's alright.
Oh my gosh, I'm doing that.
There's a reason I'm not in the kayak today. Have fun. Oh, is that enough?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Almost. Almost there.
It's like shallower right here.
Oh, yeah. We're getting there, almost. All right, you should be free. No problem. Yeah, have a good day. All right, hopefully that karma gets us some good fish. All right, well, I think we're gonna start working our way back down. I'm guessing it's about 1 o'clock. I really don't wanna fish out my phone to find out, but start working our way back, make sure we hit that one spot we actually caught all of them fish at. Part of the reason I don't want to keep working up here is you got these trees that you kind of got to work your way through, and it's really deep out here, so you'd have to trespass technically, because again, you got to stay in the water. These property lines go somewhere out here, and the way that I understand the rules and laws of Illinois is this is a navigable river, obviously, that you can have free pass up and down on, but you got to stay in the water. That moment you step out of the water is private property where you can get trespassed, which I don't like dealing with any of that. And obviously want to encourage people to follow the rules and not give fishermen a bad name. The other part of this too is this is all chunk rock up here. You know, we're out of that small little gravel. This is like ankle breaker type stuff where I'm just using these cheap little Chinese water shoes, and it is not easy nor fun trying to walk on this chunk rock. So we'll just work our way back down and fish the spots that should hold some fish. Ow, God. I was complaining about them shoes earlier. Man, these are just not the best wet wading shoes. Had a rock that worked its way up through the mesh and just was cutting straight into the arch of my foot. Definitely need to get some proper waders over the winter. Caught a stick. All right. This spot's paying off again. Stick doesn't want to let go. Well, I'll be curious to see if the spot's reloaded. Oh, we got a bite. Felt like a kind of a small bite. Yeah, a little double tug. There's one. Oh man, doing some acrobatics. Come on over here, buddy. Okay, yeah, that's a very nice, healthy looking fish. Probably 1.5 pounds, maybe upper 1 pound. Thanks, buddy. You stole one of my claws. Yeah, I'm very curious to know why this spot is so special. I mean, I guess it is the one that has the most amount of current and a very well-defined eddy to it with that little rock break right there. That was, I think, was my problem yesterday in St. Charles. St. Charles just had like no current to it. I mean, there's current, just not a well enough defined current break to kind of concentrate the fish. They're probably just out roaming, and there's probably some fish on this pool that are just out roaming as well. And then they'll find a spot like this and just kind of sit on it and let the current feed them. You're definitely not getting fish after fish like we did last time, though. There's a fish. Man, I did not feel the bite on that one. This guy was out more in the current. Alright, see you later. Unfortunately, he stole my last claw. That's okay. I can get another one out. Alright. Well, they're getting smaller. That's alright, though. These guys are still fun to catch. Alright, thanks, buddy. That feels like a better fish. Oh, that was a better fish. That's a fish, I think. No, that's a snag. That's a stick. Okay. See, this is why I prefer the standard Bitsy Bug over the flip. See, that hook just kind of bent out just enough to help give, well, I'm assuming as much. Prove me wrong. That hook bent out just enough to let that that stick come loose. And just get the ticker pliers, bend that slightly back in, and we're back in business. Well, if you guys want to know why green pumpkin works so well, there's what the smallmouth are eating. Rusty crayfish are so prevalent. I have flipped, I don't know, maybe about 30 rocks. I've seen tons of these. This is the first guy I was actually able to catch. But, I mean, that kind of matches your profile. And that guy is, I mean, the color is not exactly quite there, but it's pretty dang close. So, all right, buddy. Good luck. Don't get ate by a smallmouth. Thinking about it, I shouldn't have let that crayfish go. Those are invasive. You are supposed to dispose of those if you find them. At least, again, as far as I know. I'm not 100% sure about identifying those, but those crayfish, when they've got those red kind of tints to them, I'm more than confident those are rusty crayfish. Alright, well, that's going to go ahead and do it for us this midday. Nice day. I guess I take back what I had said. I would say the fish on this pool are definitely in the fall swing of things, where they're schooled up in one spot, and you gotta go find that one spot that they want to be in and just fish it. Maybe St. Charles was like that yesterday and I just didn't find the fish at the right time at the right spot. If anyone's curious what my jig setup is, this is a Daiwa Tatula CT. This is a reel that I picked up this year. At first I hated it. Felt like I had to kind of go through a break-in process because it was just constantly getting backlashed and really getting it dialed in. Like the dialed in, I got it dialed in for what it should have been, and it's still a backlash. But anyway, it's working quite nicely now, and that's paired up with a custom-made rod by Tricky Sticks. It's based out of Elgin, St. Charles area. This is a medium heavy, fast action, 7-foot rod. And then again, the star of the day was green pumpkin, a Bitsy Bug and green pumpkin, 3/16 ounce with a 3-inch Berkley Trigger Craw, also in green pumpkin. So anyway, all right, thanks for sticking with me. We'll see y'all next time.